This might very well be the most important video you've ever seen on YouTube. Or maybe not. I want to talk to you guys from a hermetic, alchemical point of view, what it means to transurf reality, what it means to skip timelines. And it might not be what you think, or it might, and it's going to be a lot easier than you ever thought it would be. First, I'm going to explain to you why you need to jump realities to start. The reason is because you're stuck in a rhythm. Napoleon Hill calls it hypnotic rhythm. Napoleon Hill had a conversation with the devil. And Napoleon Hill said, "Hey, Mr. Devil, how is it that you can capture the souls of humanity? And how is it that you can tell me your secrets without being scared?" And the devil says this. The devil says, "I ensnare man with something I call hypnotic rhythm. And no man, for the sake of argument, can escape hypnotic rhythm's pool when they are caught within it. That is, we'll call it your baseline frequency, your subconscious passive frequency. Meaning, what is it from you that emanates 24/7? Not your thoughts. Your thoughts are included, but not your conscious decisions. Not, let's see, for example, in the morning you're at work and you have certain thoughts, you have certain feelings, you're hungry, you're tired, you're sick, you're horny, you go to work, you come home, you do the food thing, you're driving around, right? So you're bibbity bopping around, but you have a baseline frequency, a subconscious emanation of the totality, the summation of who you are. Not a single thought, but all your thoughts. Not a single action, but all of your actions. All of that creates what we call in hermetics a rhythm. That rhythm, once set in motion, is extremely difficult to break. And that rhythm dictates where you're going in life. It dictates the circumstances that show up for you. And it does that by controlling the types of conversations that you have and the types of conversations that you don't have. It determines the places you want to go, the places that you don't go. It inspires you to certain things, and it inspires you away from certain things, right? This is the hypnotic rhythm that you are in. And some of us are fortunate enough to have our meditation games on point. Some of us are savvy enough to have our yoga practices on point, our diets on point, our thoughts on point, to the point where we have set our hypnotic rhythm on a path that steers us in the direction that we want to go, so that we don't have to make conscious decisions. We don't have to utilize willpower to get what we want. The thing with willpower, with conscious decision, with the masculine side of the force, is it's almost like a muscle. And this is actually proven with science. Your willpower is actually a muscle. That's why they say you should do the most important things at the beginning of the day, because once your willpower is taxed throughout the day, you start slacking on your decision making. You start going the easy route. You start making sacrifices that aren't in your best interest because you're tired. But when we train the hypnotic rhythm side, though that willpower isn't willpower because we do things without thinking about them. That's the power of the passive. That's the power of the feminine, the subconscious. Our summation is we are now making decisions without having to think about them. It's more intuitively. Here's the reality surfing. Here's the reality surfing part. If you want to get to the place where you are skipping timelines, skipping realities, what you have to do is start making abrupt changes to your daily decisions. And the more extreme the diversion of your current path, the more extreme the results will be. What does that look like? What that looks like is, what do you do when you wake up in the morning? What time do you wake up in the morning? Right? Those are two things we can start with. Do you normally wake up at 7? Wake up at 6. Do you want more of an abrupt change? Wake up at 5. What do you do in the morning? Do you open social media? If you do, what do you watch? Can you watch something better when you open social media? Can you put on a 432 hertz earth frequency for cleansing in your house instead of the news? Can you not put anything on at all? Can you meditate when you wake up in the morning? Can you, even better, can you drive to the closest mountain and meditate in the morning? Again, the more abrupt the change to your current rhythm, the more abrupt the change will be to your timeline shift. People think timeline shift is some like 5D reality. I'm going to step into the next reality where there's no such thing as polarity, and I'm going to transcend all the laws and rules of the universe. Nah, it doesn't work like that, right? This is more real. Alchemy, hermetics, this is a little more real, a little more practical. A skip of timeline is something like a change in your daily passive thoughts, which lead to changes in emotions, which lead to changes in action and behavior. Now, at first, as all things, anytime you want to switch a rhythm, it's going to include willpower. It's going to include the masculine force, because you're going to have to say, actually, I have a passive system in place, and I want to throw a wrench in that system to stop it and veer right, which takes an extraordinary amount of willpower and energy. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The more you program your subconscious, your passive, your feminine, and when you reprogram the passive, I want to explain passive in a way that you guys will understand what I mean by that. A lot of people hear passive, and the first thing they think, passive, feminine. Oh my God, the feminine is not passive. It's just as active. Like, no, the feminine is passive. The masculine is active. And here's the power of passive in a way that will make sense to you. Passivity is this. Your Wi-Fi router is passive. Your Wi-Fi is 24/7 broadcasting a signal anywhere within the radius, right? Whether you turn your computer on or off, the Wi-Fi is still there. It is passive, right? If you have self-doubt about your skills, if you have self-doubt about your ability to become a better person, self-doubt about your ability to change your ways, that pervading thought is a passive thought. Whether you are having dinner, eating ice cream, laughing with your friends, having sex, doesn't matter what you're doing, your passive thought always in the background as a signal being broadcasted out into the universe is, I do not trust myself. I do not trust my ability to improve, right? That's your passive thought. But that passive thought is more powerful than the active thought, again, because it's always going. So it's our job to change the passive thoughts to, I do believe in myself. I can change. I am changing. I have changed drastically in the past couple of years. When I actually look into it, consider, take stock of what's been happening, I can say that I have been killing it. It can change my relationship to my thoughts and what's actually being done. Again, what does that mean? That means utilize the mind, the active mind, to change your hypnotic rhythm so that our passive state of being can be reprogrammed. And if you want to skip timelines, you have to reorient that hypnotic rhythm that you're in. That means, again, doing things drastically and substantially out of the norm. And the best way to do that is, again, with your actions. You're going to work one way, take a different route. Take the scenic route. And if you always take the scenic route, take the normal route. When was the last time you went to the beach and meditated at sunset? Or forget that, when was the last time you made a spontaneous trip to a different state? There's this weird thing that I used to do. I used to go to school in San Francisco, and I live in Southern California, so it's like a 5-hour drive. And I would drive back and forth, and there was this one spot in the middle of nowhere where there was this like factory with lots of lights. It was lit up like a city, and you can tell it was a factory. It was in the middle of nowhere. And I always had this massive urge to just drive out there, but it was always inconvenient, right? It's like, oh, I'm on a 5-hour drive, 6-hour drive to Southern California, or I got to get back to school and have class in the morning, or it's midnight, because I would usually drive at night, drive down after class and stuff. It was always an inconvenience. And that's what we tell ourselves when it comes to these intuitive sparks of thought that tell us to go left instead of right, to tell us to go to that city factory in the middle of nowhere at midnight when I still have 3 hours to drive. In my head, I would always tell myself, damn, Keith, what if that was the entrance to Narnia? What if that's the entrance to Middle Earth right there? And you keep passing it up. You've been on this drive 7 times. Every time you pass up this city in the middle of nowhere, you feel like there's something magical over there, but you always convince yourself not to go because of convenience. What if I break down? I'm in the middle of nowhere. What if it's late, I'm tired, I'm dark. What if? But I did. But remember, the more abrupt the change to normality, the more abrupt the change to our timeline, the more substantial and distant we'll put ourselves away from the original timeline and onto the new one. That's reality surfing. It's not only, you know what I mean? If your routine is to just wake up and meditate for 15 minutes every day, and then you go to work and you've been doing that for 15, 20 years, and it's just like, well, if you're happy with that, dope. But if you're still like, oh, I'm doing all the things, and again, it's an abrupt change to your reality. Meditate on your roof now. Meditate at sunset in your underwear. I don't know, man. You got to use your intuition, use your mind, use masculine and feminine, bring that both together, and make some substantial changes. Good luck. Good luck. I hope if this wasn't new information, it was at least positioned in such a way to resonate a little more than it has in the past. If you're new to the channel and you made it this far, please subscribe. Leave a comment. Let's get some dialogue going on this one, because this one has actually been really big for me lately. It's been really big for me lately. Thank you, guys. Also, the next batch of white sage seedlings have popped. Oh, all the white sages, if you guys are into your smudging and whatnot. These are baby white sage little seedlings, little sprouts. They say hello. All right, you guys, I just want to show off the plants a little bit. Oh, so healthy. I'll see you guys soon, okay? Bye.